I'm Jackson Moran, and I'm going to be asking Miss Anntwanique Edwards about her book, Where's Thy Faith, and what she does. What do you do?
Okay. Well, let me start off and talk a little bit about myself first. I work for the school system, as you know. I'm an assistant principal, and I just started at a new alternative school this summer. And also, I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ everywhere that I go. And so I really just like working with young people and doing a lot of great things in ministry and in the school system. I've also been a guidance counselor. I worked as a mental health counselor. And so everything I've done in my life has really been revolved around young people. So that kind of leads to Where is Thy Faith? So I wrote this book for youth and young adults, people such as yourself, a lot of kids who are in middle school, high school, and even college. Because my thought was that many of the young people today have a tendency to struggle with different things, and they don't really know how to deal with it, and they really struggle with this idea of faith. You know how you go to church and everybody's talking to you, they're like, Jackson, you know, just have some faith, you'll be all right. And you're like, okay, what exactly does that mean? How do I hold on to faith, you know, and how do I do that? And I have a lot of hard stuff going on in my mind, and I don't know really what to do. That's pretty much what this book talks about. It kind of explains what faith is. I actually open up in the book talking about what my definition of faith has been. Then it changes a little bit after that, because I realized that what I thought faith was isn't exactly what it really is.
Okay. Why are you passionate about working with youth? What have you done to fulfill your calling?
Wow. Man, Jackson. Okay. Yes. Wow. I have been passionate about youth probably from the day I was born. I believe that it is a gift that God has placed in me. I love young people. Always have. Cannot remember a time where I didn't. My sisters always laugh at me now. They pick at me because they say, you used to make us play school.
What are some commonalities between Where is Thy Faith and Daddy, Where Are You?
That's an interesting question. Commonalities between the two books. Both of the books can, you don't have to read either one of them in order, which I think is unique about the books. Like, you don't have to read chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in succession like that. You could read chapter 6 and then go back to chapter 1. They're standalone chapters. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Huh? I know it's different. And then at the end of each chapter in Daddy, Where Are You, there are affirmations that I wanted for people to be able to make part of their own like healing process. At the end of this chapter, there's something different as well. At the end of the chapters of the book, and Where is Thy Faith, I kind of give some insight into why the characters, or not necessarily why, but how faith could have helped each one of the characters in the situations that they're going through. In every chapter, they are dealing with a level that's on top of a level on top of a level of issues, like just piled up on top of each other. And so I talk about more or less how faith will help them deal with all that stuff and provide freedom for them. And then at the end of the chapters, there are also, or at the end of each book, there are questions to help guide people for group studies, because I think that this would be a phenomenal tool in church settings or schools, especially Christian schools, or just groups that people have, to be able to look at the questions at the end, to think critically about the stuff that I wrote about in them. I'll give you a for instance, just so you understand exactly where I'm coming from. Just because I opened it up to here, in chapter 5, it says, how does faith impact our decision making and vice versa? How do our decisions impact our faith? So these aren't like questions where it's like, well, who was the character in chapter 2? And do you remember when they said so-and-so? Well, everybody can remember and turn to a page. But I want people to be able to talk about what's going on. The fourth question under that chapter is to cite evidence that led to Harmony's decision to sleep with her boyfriend. Woo! Yes, I do. Can I throw in here that I do talk about stuff that is not talked about in church? Having sex before you get married, your parents having divorces or getting split up, being separated, using drugs, homosexuality, lesbianism, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's all in here. Drinking, going to the club, getting beat up and abused, hating your parents for a minute, all that. That's the stuff they talk about in school, right?
Kind of. I'll say kind of. Not all of it.
Not all of it, but it comes up, right?
Yeah, it comes up sometimes.
So a lot of people who are in church, parents who are in church, they think that because you go to church, like you won't ever hear about that stuff because it's not talking about it. Exactly. So that's exactly why I wanted to write the book, because a lot of people go to church and their kids won't hear about this stuff if I just keep them in church. I'm like, but as long as they go to school and they're around other people who might not ever go to church, they're going to hear about things that you might never mention in your house. So to leave it unaddressed is crazy. Somebody has to be able to speak up and not like cringe when you hear the word like homosexuality, because you go to school and you might see them holding hands or kissing or whatever, so it has to be explained. I know you feel me. So yes, I want the questions at the end of the book to be ones that kind of guide those conversations, so it don't get way off base and real crazy, but allows people to have good discussions.
Where can I get a hold of this book?
Authorhouse.com. They're the publishers of the book. Also, it is provided online through Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. All of those book retailers have the book available. And it is available in softcover, hardcover, and ebook format for all those people who are technologically savvy and have e-readers and stuff. All proceeds that come from the purchase of Daddy, Where Are You? And Where Is Thy Faith? Go to Divine Ministry Incorporated, which is a nonprofit 501c3 organization, which we focus on specifically helping our community and helping some of our women and youth who are in need. They might be dealing with difficult situations. And it also provides scholarships for young people who are preparing to go to college and children who are in college as a result of writing essays. And so we would thank you so much if you would be a blessing to someone by purchasing a book. Not only to give the book, if you would, to someone and be a blessing to them that way, but to know that the money then spent on it also goes to bless those in the community.